Okay, so we're continuing our Make It Real series, and today I'm going to be sharing something to do with that subject. Picture it, 1 million people. 1 million people who have just been walking around the wilderness for a generation, 40 years, just walking around in circles, trying to find the place where they were always destined to be. This is known as the Promised Land. You have a promised land today. There is a promised land in your life that God is trying to move you to. That this year He wants you to make it real. And what God is doing in our community at this point in time is He is trying to teach us, maneuver us, and empower us to go and take that land. 1 million people and one guy, Joshua. Everyone say Joshua. Say it with attitude. Say Joshua. Everyone say Joshua. Joshua is a wonderful guy who is a leader of the nation of Israel. There's the 1 million people. And what is happening? God is saying to Joshua, okay, you've been walking around under the leadership of Moses, his predecessor, but it's now time. You are now ready. This is your year to make it real. I am ready to take you into the promised land. So we pick up the story in Joshua chapter 3. Joshua chapter 3, verse 7. The Lord said to Joshua, "Today I will begin to exalt you in the sight of all Israel." I love that God is in the exalting business. That His life, He wants to exalt you. Not to say, oh, look how you've got it all together, or look how perfect they are, but to show His greatness in His creation. To say there is potential in you. Look what I have birthed, the Spirit inside of you. I will exalt you. I will create a life of significance for you through me. Exalt you in the sight of all Israel, and they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. And as for you, command the priests who bear the Ark of the Covenant, make a book note there, I'm going to come back to that. The Ark of the Covenant, when you come to the brink of the waters of the Jordan, the river, you shall stand still in the Jordan. So when the people set out from their tents to pass over the Jordan with the priest bearing the Ark of the Covenant before the people, and as soon as those bearing the Ark had come as far as the Jordan, and the feet of the priests bearing the Ark were dipped in the brink of the water, verse 16, the waters coming down from above stood and rose up in a heap very far away at Adam, the city that is beside Zarethan, and those flowing down toward the sea of Arabah. That's a tough sentence right there. The salt sea were completely cut off, and the people passed over opposite Jericho. Now the priest bearing the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stood firmly on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan, and all Israel were passing over on dry ground until the nation finished passing over the Jordan. God is saying, go into the promised land. Go take it. But first you've got to cross the river. There is something flowing in your path that you need to get over and get through in order to inherit that land that I've always actually had for you. So what God says to Joshua is, okay, Joshy, because they're on pet names. Okay, Joshy, this is what you're going to do. You're going to tell the people, tell the priests who are carrying the Ark of the Covenant. I'll explain what that is in a minute. It's the presence of God. I want you to take them, all the people, and the people who are carrying the ark, was about 4 of them, and step into the river. Put your feet into the river and wade out. And when you do that, the river will stop flowing. When you step foot in that river with the ark, it will stop flowing, and then the people can pass through, and you're going to stay in the middle of that river with my presence, and they will walk on dry land. I've got 2 points today, and it's very simple. If you want to make it real, the first thing you've got to do is pick it up. Joshua, pick up the Ark of the Covenant. Pick it up, okay? The second thing is this. Step on out. Step on out. Pick it up. Step on out. And if we do that, this year will be one of the most remarkable years of your life. Because you said to God, I'm available, and this thing that I want to see, I'm going to make it real. Pick up and step out. First point, pick it up. There are 3 types of people. The first type is a person who carries a vision but actually goes nowhere. The second type of person is someone who runs after their vision but yet they didn't pick up the right things. And the third kind of person is who picks up God and steps on out into their promised land. First thing you need to do is pick it up. What does that mean? It means taking responsibility. You've got to own it. There's a saying in the newspapers and in politics, and it's this, that you'll never transform a neighborhood with renters. Now, I was a renter once, okay, and my landlord's in this room, so I won't comment on how I treated that property. I didn't do. But it is slightly true that you can't transform a neighborhood with renters. Why? Because they don't actually own that property. Their investment isn't in that building. And so the conviction that they carry, the weight of responsibility that they carry, it isn't huge and isn't 100% because they are just renting some space. It's such a shame when people rent space. It's such a shame when you and I rent space. We come into somewhere and we're like, hey, I'm just here, just having a good time, this is great, hey, real love. Or in your life and you're like, you're turning up to work and you're just renting space at work. You're renting space in your home life. What God wants you to do is to own it, to take responsibility for it. God said to Joshua, there's the land, Joshy Poo, there's the land. You've got to take it. You've got to be the one to go and get it. Pick up my ark, take responsibility, and go. It's yours. It's there. It's ready. You need to first pick it up and take responsibility for it. There's a guy in our community called Matt who was prayed for Ian before, if you remember. And I was just having a phone conversation with him this week, and he said this, and it stuck out to me. And I was asking him about the car business and commission, and this is what he said. I sell cars because I'm sold out for this business. These are his words. There are no 12-month contracts or exit plan for me. This is it for me. I can guarantee that level of ownership and responsibility will make it real this year. If he's saying, hey, that's why I want to take this business to the next level, I want to do this, I want to empower people, lead people, that level of ownership will create that movement because why? He's picking it up and saying, it's on me, and I'm moving forward, it's on me, and I'm moving forward, it's on me. But first, it means you need to pick it up. I want to show you something. Here's a picture on screen, if you could put it up, Abby. This is a picture of the Ark of the Covenant, if you put it on screen. Now, it's not an actual photograph, okay, because it's a lot older than Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. But that's like that's a very rough replica of what the Ark of the Covenant looked like. And what the Ark of the Covenant was, it was a very, very special thing to the Jews, to the Hebrews, to the people who owned it. What it actually was this beautiful box that was decorated in gold and wood and metal. And inside it was said to hold the tablets of the 10 Commandments. You know the 10 Commandments? Thou shalt not kill, love thy God, and whatever the other ones are, all those ones, they're in that ark, and in it were little artifacts as well. But it was said that was the symbol of God's presence with those people. That was the symbol of everything that they wanted to achieve and accomplish, that God is with them because they have this symbol with them. I've got a prop here. Ash, would you like to unveil the equipment, big budget stuff? Come to stage, my friend. Jump on stage. I need another volunteer. Andy, you're really tall. Not you, Andy Taylor. I'm so sorry. 2 Andys, come up stage. You as well, Mr. T. Come on, Andy. And then we need someone else. Why don't we get Dan? Because you're on the front row and you use it. Right. What I want you to do is I want you to put that pole on your shoulder, and then you guys just kind of follow suit. Just put it on your shoulder. That's it, and you guys follow suit. 2 down there. There you go. That's it. It's not quite balanced right, is it, really? Ash is not taking any weight. No, Andy. There you go. That's just it. Okay, this this is the approximate length. It probably would have been a little bit bigger, okay? And there was a box, and then there were two horizontal struts, and on those struts, you put it on your shoulders and carry it. And what God said was, you need 4 guys who can carry this thing, pick it up, and take it into the promised land. This is my point. When you do pick it up this year, don't pick it up alone. It was never designed for you to pick it up alone. If God wanted the ark to be something that he could, one person could carry, it'd probably do like an iPhone 6 Plus. And let's be honest, when that's broken, I'm going to use it as a roof tile. It's that big. But God wants you to pick it up with your friends. This is the beauty of the church, my friends. That, okay, you might be new in here today and you might be like, I'm not sure about God. Well, you can just switch off for a minute. But all the people in here who call themselves followers, this is a picture and an image of the beauty of what church is. The fact that we are all gathered as individuals, as young, old, men, women, and we are picking something up together, carrying the weight together as a family on mission and taking this community into the promised land, shaping a community that has never been shaped in our town before, creating a destination of hope and a place where people find life. And this is the picture. So he said, grab 4 guys and pick it up. In fact, Ash, do you want to face it that way? Because that would make more sense. Thank you. The beauty is when we decide to pick things up together, it keeps us aligned with one another. It keeps us aligned. It keeps us strong. It keeps us in unity, flowing in the same direction. It keeps the pace up. So when one person's slowing down, there's another person there to say, oh, come on, no, we're going further. Hey, you can do it. Hey, you can move faster. What are you doing slowing down? No, we need to go across this river into the promised land. In this community, when something is lagging, there are people there who can pick other people up and say, I'm with you. Let's work through this. Let me help you. And we keep the pace up. It also shares the load. I love what Dave said before, that nothing of significance is ever built by just one man. That we have done this together. Hey, one man has spearheaded, but we have created this. We are doing this. And that is the picture. Joshua had the vision to go into the promised land, but still it needed these blokes, these guys, to carry it with him. That's the beauty of the local church. We're stronger when we're together. It's no wonder that George Clooney, in the last round of Golden Globes, thanked his family for everything that he was, and it was down to them that he was that person. It's in family that we become stronger. It's in family that gets the best out of us. It's in family. And this is the family of God. Handsome, isn't it? Right, guys, you can march on off. Thank you very much. Great job. Can we give it up for our volunteers, please? There's only one person I know whose job it was to carry something alone. There's only one person who I can think of off the top of my head, apart from Captain America. There's only one person that I can think of who it was his thing to burden, his thing to do. And his name was Jesus. He's the Son of God, and I believe in him. And whether you do or not, I fundamentally believe that when God saw humanity, he had to pick it up. He couldn't just leave it. He had to pick it up and take it to a promised land through his Son. Do you know they made Jesus drag his cross to where he was going to get crucified? Do you know that? The very thing that killed him, they made him drag all the way miles and miles. And what I love is that now in that city, that route is called the Via della Rosa. And what that means is this: the way of light. The very thing that he picked up, where it was hardship, it was pain, in a moment of darkness suddenly became humanity's light. He picked it up. He bore our pain. And we today need to do the same. Oh, that rhymes. We need to do the same. No, I'm not talking about dragging crosses around Wigan all day. I'm talking about taking responsibility. Joshua, pick it up. Wigan, pick it up. If you complain about it, if you don't do anything about it, you have no right to complain about it. It's only on those who pick it up. So what do you need to take responsibility for? How can you take responsibility? What does that look like, you picking something up, you owning something? What do you need to do to action that? Pick it up. The second thing, very simply, is to step on out. You're going to have to put your feet in the water in order for that to stop flowing. Is there any fishermen in the room? Can I just have a quick survey? Okay, fishermen, okay, one at the back. No, your name's Will Fisher. That doesn't make you a fisherman. Well, it does, all right. Any fishermen, see hand up, one of my people there. Yo, respect. Yes, right at the back. There's another one there. Yes, brother. Anybody else? No, just 3 of us. Great. Let's start a small group. Okay. Are there any female fisher women? Are there any fisher women in the place, apart from Jane Fisher? Because we've heard that joke once. No? Okay, there we go. I used to go fishing. I've not been fishing in a while, and it takes a special kind of man to fish. It takes a special kind of guy to sit in the pouring rain for hours and hours for a 2-inch fish and then claim glory over nature that we have once again conquered through the feat of fishing. And then once we've caught it, we put it back in again. I'm going to get you again. I remember going fishing once, and we were by the side of the lake, and my mate, you cast out in fishing, you do all your line, you cast out, and you just sit there and you just wait. And I remember he waited for half hours fishing in a different spot, the same lake. He was waiting 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, because obviously, you know, that's nothing in fisherman terms. And he cast out, and I was like, Sean, why are you not catching anything? And he was like, I don't know. So he starts reeling it in, right? So he's reeling it. Oh, man, it's tight. And he starts, and suddenly his rod goes boom, like that. And he said, I've got a fish. But he hadn't. It actually cast into the tree behind him. How did a fish get up there? You know, you're missing the point. Fishing's a lot like faith. You've got to cast out in order to get the catch. You've got to go. You've got to action. You've got to do something. The fish ain't just going to jump out of water and go, hey, you caught me. Catch me again. It's not going to happen. You've got to cast out. You've got to put something out there. And God was doing the same thing with the Israelites. He was like, you have got to step on out, and then it'll happen. What I love is this, is that when you step out, God steps out. I don't know if any of you have experienced that in your life before, where you've done something in faith, or you've done something and it's a risk, and you've done it on a wing and a prayer, and suddenly something's happened and you're like, man, God is with me. Man, some guy up there must love me because he's done that for me. When you step out, God steps out. So here's some practical ways you can step out this year. Just wrote a quick list. Okay, facing the truth. Confessing to a friend. This is just a long list I've just thought. Reconciling something, a change of perspective, developing new skills, financial generosity, rhythms of hard work and good rest, investment, increasing your emotional maturity, being teachable, moving on. I love the fact that you have to move on from somewhere to get somewhere else. You know, it's like, oh no, I want to keep this land here. You're never meant to build a house on that land. You're meant to camp there, not live there. Where you're meant to live and inhabit is this promised land that you're making it real. You got to move on. Faith, consistency. I've got a really good stat here, okay? And the stat is this, that in our community, just look around right now, look at everybody, even the people that you've been ignoring. Look around, have a look. 35%, that's a rough figure, give or take quite a few percentages. Around 35% of our community serve on a team. 35%. 35% of people in this community, either through the midweek, either on a Sunday, come and bring the talents to the table to say, okay, God, you know, use me, I'm good at this, I want to contribute. But although 35% is amazing, what's actually incredible is this. There's 65% who don't serve. If we can do what we do on 35%, Think what God will do through us if 100% came. Think about what we would do, the things that we would create, the projects that we would create for our town, the environment we would shape together. If all of us came together and said, I will step on out. If you're new here today, I probably might not be talking to you, but I'm telling you, if you're a part of this community, then volunteering should be at the very heart of this home in your mind. When I go to other people's houses, I do this weird thing where I help clean up, right? And one time I was in a house and I had like a fight with someone because they just wouldn't let me take the dishes away, and there was like 4, and I was like, no, I'll do it. No, it's okay. It's okay, I've made this decision. No, I want to do it. It often ends up with friction. And I just clear the table. That's just what I do. I'm like, I've come for food. You've made me some food. I'm just going to clear up. And I do that at home because my wife has got a gun to my head. But I'm joking. I do that at home and I wash up and I do as much as I can because I believe in this, that if this is my home, then I contribute. If this house is your home, you need to help with the clearing up. You need to, I'm not talking about, I've got to, pick litter. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if we're family, we do this together. It's not on the few people who slave the guts out, passionate about Jesus and love this house, who give it all until they're just spent, and then suddenly they crash and burn and wonder what it was all for. 35%. 35. I'm telling you, you need to serve. And I'm not telling you as like you have to. I'm telling you because I believe that what is inside you, when it comes out in this context, there is nothing like it. When you bring your talents and who you are to the family, it creates such a dynamic and releases you. If you came up to me and said, Ben, from this message, which I hope I've told the whole believing in faith, that people would go and sign up. And I said, there's going to be a few more people coming in and saying, I'm available, right? But if you came up to me and said, Ben, I want to give my Sunday mornings to God, or if you came to me and said, I want to give this, I might not be interested because I'm not interested in your time. I'm interested in you. I'm interested in you. Okay, a certain amount of time is all you have to give, and that's cool. But when we enter this contractual agreement of I will do this for you this amount of times and this amount of weeks, that's not family. That's not church. But when we come as individuals and say, actually, I just want you to use me. I'm not the best at that, but I think I'm really passionate about that. I'm a really good listener. I love to do that. I just love making people feel welcome. I've got a passion for coffee. I don't know if you can tell, and I love to make coffee. And do you know what? I love to park cars. I'm sure there's someone out there who loves to park. I love spreadsheets. Oh, give me spreadsheets any day of the week. Do you know what? In my job, I work in finance, or in my job, I work in HR, or in my job, I do this. And I just wondering, I'm just coming to God, I'm just saying, God, I'm just going to step on out, just use me. Joshua, I want you to go across the river to the promised land, and I want you to take it and inhabit it. Go for it. But I've only got 2 hours, and then Coronation Street is on. Come on, do it next week. He didn't say that. He said, yes, I'll go. Right, guys, it's time. It's time. Come on, let's go. Use me. And when we step on out in the context of family, bring our gifts and our talents and our abilities to the table, that, my friends, is when we will see this town transformed. Because there's not 30%, 35% in. We're all in. I'm all in. I'm all in on this one. And so I encourage you, if you do want to start serving, then you can go and see the hub or grab me afterwards or whatever, and let's talk. Don't just think in terms of Sunday. Think about what God is saying to you and what you're going to do about it. Pick it up, step on out. Pick it up, step on out. It sounds wrong that God would ask the Israelites to take this ark and not throw it, but take it into a river. the very thing that defined them as a nation, that set them apart from any other nation on the earth, whether that was in Asia, the Americas, in Europe, in Africa, the Eskimos, wherever they live, what set them apart from anyone else was this ark, was this box, was this presence. And it seems a little bit silly that God would ask them to put it in such a vulnerable position. To say, come on, we're going to take the ark. It was probably worth a little bit of money as well, because it was full of, it looked like it was gold plated. Take it into the ark, yes, and step in front of the river. And we have the same fears. That it's strange for us to lay something on the line that is precious to us, that puts it in harm's way, or that is a risk factor, or that it takes courage. It seems odd because what the guys were afraid of were the elements. They were afraid of this water in the flood season that was flowing down from the mountains in Israel, that this thing could get washed away. But friends, let me tell you that we're afraid of the elements, but in those situations, God is in his element. Do you think some water intimidates him? Do you think some puny H2O stands in his way from establishing his kingdom in your life, in my life, in our life? Nah, that's when he is in his element. What we do is we say, God, you do this for me. I want this for me. And God is saying to us, step on out. Because when we step out, God steps out. Mr. Right isn't going to walk into your life with a six-pack and a £1 million checkbook and go, hey, I love Jesus and I'm single and I like your top. Will you marry me? The bank won't phone you. It would be amazing, right? If the bank would phone you and go, hello, Mr. Tarbuck? Yes, hello. Yes, that bank loan that you got and your mortgage and all the things that you owe us. We just think you've done a ruddy good job this year, so don't worry about it. It's on us. It just won't happen, okay? We need to step on out, and then God will step on out too. Listen to this amazing thing that, in fact, Johnny, you can jump up now. This amazing thing that in verse 17, it says, now the priests bearing the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firmly on dry ground. They walked into a turbulent situation. They walked into something that could sweep them off the feet, and within a matter of minutes or hours, where they were once struggling to gain balance and strength and unity, they stood firm. And I'm telling you today that if you pick it up and you step on out, there will be a moment where, yes, it is a little bit uneasy, but there will be a moment in time where you will stand on dry ground and you will know that God was with you all along and that he'll always be with you, and this is just the beginning. He stood firm. Pick it up and step on out. Who believes I've had a Red Bull this morning? In all honesty, I'm just picking it up. I'm not a renter. I own this now. And this is going to happen. Well, why don't we stand to our feet? I'm just going to pray for everyone, and then we're pretty much done. I've got one last thing to say. So whatever you're making real today, just receive this where you are. Whatever you're making real today, when you pick it up and you step on out with God, the river you walked into will stop flowing. The walls of Jericho will fall down. The Red Sea will part. That depression will leave. Those obstacles will be demolished. That snow and ice will melt away. That scorching fire will be cooled. That lack of hope will be renewed. And your peace will come back. Your family will be reunited. And your growth will multiply when we pick it up and we step on out.